name is Talia Escobedo, and I am so honored to share how Birthright redefined my life. Before I went on my trip, I did not have a strong sense of what it meant to belong in Jewish community. But through my experiences on the trip and in the years since, I have found a strong sense of purpose and community in my Jewish identity. Birthright was the impetus to stepping into Jewish life as a leader, not just a follower. I'm the granddaughter of a Holocaust survivor from Lithuania who moved to Mexico. My family's Jewish life in Mexico was never something that was at the forefront of our identity. So I personally did not grow up with a true sense of what it meant to belong in a Jewish community. Once my grandfather passed away in 2019, I felt a personal calling to fill his huge shoes, L'Ador V'Dor. After returning from my Birthright trip in 2021, I moved to New York City to pursue a master's degree in theater management and producing at Columbia University. I knew that finding my Jewish community was a top priority, and thankfully that is incredibly easy to do in New York City. I joined the first advisory board for Columbia's grad student Hillel, started weekly Havruta, regularly attended services, began hosting holidays and Shabbat dinners with one table, and became a Birthright Israel trip staffer.
Ooh.
I even had the honor of hosting former Birthright participants of mine at my Seder this last year, and it was their first Passover experience ever. During the first year of my graduate program, I worked on Broadway on shows like Dear Evan Hansen, Book of Mormon, and Leopoldstadt. Although I was living my dream of working in commercial theater, I felt a strong desire to integrate my professional life with my Jewish identity, as it was extremely fulfilling to be in spaces where I felt a strong sense of community and connection through a shared covenant. This led me to step into the role of producing associate for the workshop, North America's first and only arts fellowship program for Jews of color, Indigenous, Sephardic, and Mizrahi artists. As a Mexican Jew, uplifting the voices of Jews of color is a mission I hold dearly to my heart. And next week, I'll be stepping into my first full-time role as programming associate for the Temple Emmanuel Stryker Center. My heart leaps at the opportunity to merge my experiences in producing events with my Jewish culture. If you ask me, this couldn't have been a more perfect fit. Before my Birthright trip, I had not found my Jewish community. Now my whole life is Jewish community. So when I got the opportunity to lead a trip of my own, it was very important for me to create a space that received young Jews from all walks of life with open arms. As a two-time Birthright trip staffer, I've had the privilege of witnessing the profound impact the program has on young Jews from diverse backgrounds. A Jew is a Jew is a Jew, I told my most recent group just a week ago. Little did I know how much of an impact this small statement would make. Over half of my group would go on to thank me for being one of the first people to recognize their Judaism, regardless of if they themselves felt Jewish enough. Nobody should be questioning if they are Jewish enough. I empowered them to embrace their unique Jewish identities, as it is an undeniable part of who they are. As someone who used to question my own place in the community before Birthright, I know firsthand how important this affirmation is in helping young people find their place in the community. By bringing young Jews together and exposing them to the realities of life in Israel, Birthright helps promote understanding and empathy between Jews in the diaspora and those living in Israel. In a time where anti-Semitism and other forms of hate are on the rise, it becomes all the more important to nurture unity and solidarity as Jewish people. I am eternally grateful toward those who make this program possible because you gave my life a new sense of purpose. This is what Birthright can do for its participants. I'm only one example of the 800,000 plus young Jews who have been gifted this experience. Through programs like Birthright, we become a more united people, bonded to each other, and bonded to Israel. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Zohar Aviv, International Vice President of Educational Strategy for Birthright Israel.
Woo! Yeah, Talia!